I'd like to call to order this Henderson County Board of Education regular meeting. Today is February the 19th, 2018. If we would have a moment of silence, please, and let's remember all the school kids and school officials and people across the country who could use a few extra thoughts and prayers. Thank you all very much. Could I invite the cheerleaders from North Middle School to stand, please? And could the rest of you stand as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Go, girls.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first action is the approval of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to read the agenda? Hold on a second. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve. Thank you. I'll second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on to student and staff recognition. Ms. Morgana?
Good evening. We'd like to start our student and staff recognition with a student from Jefferson Elementary School, Dalvis Majors, if he would come forward. He was February Judges Scholar recipient from Jefferson Elementary, and his principal is Miss Sandifer. If she would come forward, please. I talked with Dalvis a little bit before the meeting and asked him to share with us what was one of his favorite things that day. He said sitting behind the bench. Why was that one of your favorite parts of the day?
Because I got to really know what happens behind it.
Wonderful. He says that he really got to understand what it was like behind there with the judges. Pretty cool day, wasn't it? Did they declare it like your day all across the county? I bet they did, absolutely. So Ms. Sandifer, tell us a little more information, if you would, about Dalvis. Sure.
Well, Dalvis is a true leader at Jefferson in so many ways. We're a leader in the school, and after talking with Ms. Fleck about why she chose Dalvis to be the Judges Scholar, and we talked to Dalvis about this too, is every month at Jefferson, we pick a student that exhibits a specific habit all the time in the classroom. And Dalvis has such true leadership skills that he could really honestly be picked as leader of the month every single month, because he lives the 7 habits out every single day in everything that he does. He has numerous friends. He is definitely a teacher pleaser. He wants to do his very best at all times, and he makes leadership look easy at Jefferson Elementary. So we are very, very proud of Dalvis and all of his accomplishments. And even when he was behind the bench, they even made comments about how he was so engaged through the whole process. He was asking questions and really wanted to know what was going on. So he's one of our future Henderson County leaders for sure.
Congratulations. Brought with you somebody, a couple folks are with you. Who is with you in the audience?
My mom, my sister, and my mom's friends.
Awesome. Would you all stand and have a round of applause also? We appreciate this evening. And let's get a picture. We look forward to great things, Dalvis. Congratulations. All right, next for our student and staff recognition is quite a unique group of young ladies. And it's been fun to watch them from afar. I would first like to invite Aaron Williams to come forward, please, along with Ms. Johnson, their principal. Come on forward. We'd like to recognize North Middle School's cheer squad. And I'm going to have Ms. Williams tell you a little bit about what these girls have accomplished, what they have done, and why we're recognizing them tonight.
Hello, everyone. This year, we went in and we decided that we were going to try to get a bid for nationals. And just to be able to go is an honor at that. And then to get to finals for the first time ever for Henderson County was a blessing too. And then on top of that, make top 10. And then they kept calling down top 5. And then for us to be medaled was a blessing too. And these girls and guys too, they work day and night and they eat, sleep, and breathe it just like I do. And they are just an amazing group of kids, and I couldn't ask for more. And they also have all 3.5 GPA grade averages too. So. Yes, overall they place second in the nation, and then for traditional they place 13th in the nation. So
Fantastic, ladies. We have a medal of excellence for each student. Do you mind to call them by name? Come up with
yeah,
their medal?
I can. Kylie Williams. Jada Keith. Riley Hicks. Robert Sellers. Elena Wiggins. Emma Robertson. Emma Becker. David Schwartz. Sorry. Lily Trump. Jalen Keith. Casey Farley. Caitlin Ward. Olivia Duncan. Kendall Ralph. Lauren Terhune. Tess Coons. Journey McElroy. Peyton Schultz. Brandon Marsh. Chastity Bryant. Lillian Christian. Kaden Fulport. Amber Pruitt. Bennett Berg. Lily Sinnott. Maggie Horn. And Leanna Miller. And Joaquin Williams is not here. Oh, Aaliyah Corwin, she's standing in the very, very back.
Okay. Girls, we definitely want to get a picture, so we're going to kind of do 2 rows.
They know how to do this. Girls, get in photo format. Come on. You know how to make the lines. I affectionately refer to them as Aaron's Army. They've done this a time or two.
Stage formation. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, before.
Girls, I'd like to share with you in front of the Board of Education and the audience tonight how proud we are that not only did you place second in the nation, because that's a tremendous amount of time, dedication, and hard work. These are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, probably 11, 12, 13-year-olds maybe in this mix. But above that, your GPA is outstanding. And the way you represent yourself and wear that blue and white, when you leave Henderson and go somewhere and represent North Nation is very impressive. I'm very proud of you, so wear that Medal of Excellence in pride, please. All right? Now, I know several of you all have guests with you, so So if you are a mom, a dad, a friend, a guardian, a sibling, part of this group's success, please stand to be recognized also. Of their success, not just academically, but their performance and the time that you've given as well. Congratulations, North Middle School and girls. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Moving on to public participation and recognition of guests. Just as a reminder, if you intend to address the board this evening, I do need to have one of the forms filled out. They're over on the bar table, and bring it up front so we know what you're speaking about and who you are for our record. So the other thing we need to recognize are some of our guests. We do have some Henderson County student ambassadors with us. If you all will please stand, Riley Franks and Emma Gillum. Thank you, ladies. Okay, our first speaker is Mr. Robert Pruitt. And as a reminder to all this evening, if you speak before the board, you have 3 minutes to speak, and we can take no action on anything that's presented this evening.
Yes, good evening. Most of you people know me. I'm Robert Pruitt, City Commissioner. I just want to let you know that we all know what's been going on here lately with the school shootings. We're getting a bunch of calls, most elected officials are telling us where we stand and how we're going to help make sure that we protect our kids. You know, we have 2 different budgets. You have a school budget and you have a city government budget. But then, the chairman, Lisa, have been in contact here lately, not going on 2 weeks now, discussing whether metal detectors would help or would it hurt or hinder for county high. I told people that we can't retrofit all the schools with the city budget. They're anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000. But whatever it takes that we can do that's within our budget, I've already talked to Commissioner Brad Statton's here and talked to our commission board, and they're on board. This is something that we can't be sitting back waiting and then say, oh, we should have done something. We're going to be proactive on this. City government is ready. You know, we're going to have some meetings coming up. But I just want to let everybody know, this right here, I thought when Columbine happened, I thought it would be over. Then we got Sandy Hook. Then we got Washington County. And now we got Parkland. It's not if it's going to happen here. The way it's going is when. And what are we going to do to make sure that we can protect as many kids as we can or prevent it from ever happening here? I know, I looked at the metal detectors. I know that once you come through, you know, sometimes you got a conveyor that you put your backpack on. You may have to have somebody look at it. I don't know how it works, but I went to the basketball game this past weekend. To be honest, it made me nervous. That's the way we've been going in for years, but we can't do that anymore. We had guards there, but they wasn't at the door. They were not at the door. Most of them were back closer to the door toward the gym. You got a nice system with a 2-door system. I like that. But if somebody came in with a gun, they could get a long way in before anybody would be able to stop them, any guard or anything. So I think, you know, we're going to have to look at a whole lot of soft targets that we didn't think about looking at all. You know, we were, you know, nice community, nice country, but everything's changed. We've been waiting on our elected officials to kind of help bail us out. We have the most powerful, one of the most powerful men in the country is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's not going to pass any gun laws against any NRA. So we got to start protecting ourselves. So that's why I got in touch with you, Lisa, and I hopefully that we can continue this and find out. Maybe metal detectors is not what we're going to need, But whatever we need, I'll let you know the city commission is on board. I just want to let y'all know that.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. Anyone else? Along those lines, we have had several conversations, and as the board chair, I'd like to read a statement tonight from the Henderson County Board of Education. In the past few weeks, Henderson County Schools has been working diligently with law and state law enforcement, local and state law enforcement, to review and respond to threats regarding the safety of any and all school campuses. We are also working daily to improve our internal safety measures. In the near future, Henderson County Schools will be hosting a school safety roundtable discussion. It includes representatives from city and county government, local law enforcement, and the Kentucky Center for School Safety. We are working now on topics to be discussed and researching how other communities and school districts our size have improved on this subject. Henderson County Schools and the Board of Education appreciate the concern and the assistance our community is willing to give. We feel certain we can count on your support to protect Henderson's most valuable asset, our children. Thank you all. Moving on to approving the minutes from the prior meeting, because everyone had a chance to read those from February the 12th, 2 special called meetings. Are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve those minutes as
Make a
listed.
motion, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Mr. White. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to capital projects. The first is BG4 and BG5. Ms. Cindy?
We just need to get approval to send these into KDE so we can close out this project. We would have residual funds of $6,105.29.
Any questions regarding those BG4 and BG5? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve BG4 and BG5.
Make a motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the Spotsville Elementary School update. John Hayden Codell.
Good evening. Pretty good update this month for January and February, actually, a pretty good month. All the load-bearing masonry is completed, roof trusses are now set. Roofer got 2 days worth of work in last week. Hopefully, if all goes well, by the end of the day tomorrow, we should have the cafeteria and dry. So, moving in the right direction, finally. All the mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems are actually a little bit ahead of the game at this stage. So, as soon as the roof goes on, we can really take off. We're finally to that point now. Had a progress meeting today, talked a little bit about schedule and, trying to drive on that August completion date for these contractors. So, I think everybody's on board. We're doing some time extension change orders for the adverse weather tonight, but everybody understands that even though that completion date is out there, the goal is to get in August. So, probably the best month we've had in several, so pretty pleased with that.
Any questions for John Hayden? No questions? No. Okay, there are quite a few change orders here. Ms. Beth, do I need to read the numbers behind all of these to read them into the record? To do that, okay. Okay, so we're gonna look for a motion to approve BG 15016, 10.2, 12.1, 13.1, 18.2, 21.2, 22.3, another 22.3, 24.2, 3.5, 5.2, and 8.3. Look for a motion to approve those change orders as listed. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Change order approved. We also need a, I think that's all for you, John Hayden. Thank you, sir. Moving on to approval of payments for resolving the PPMI issue. Ms. Beth?
You recall back in August, the board passed a motion authorizing me to negotiate regards to the PPMI bond claims. We finally were able to work out the final details of those agreements. So the contracts have been finalized, have been signed by all the council and the participants. So what we need to do is to have the board ratify the agreements. So there's a contract completion agreement for bid package 15, bid package 16, and bid package 25. There's also tender and release agreements for each of those bid packages.
Any questions regarding that, board members? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the agreements resolving the PPMI bid agreement 15, 16, 25, and tender agreements to go with those. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
Make a motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. White. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the performance contract. This is with Harshaw Train. Ernie?
Thank you, Ms. Baird. The first item is the guaranteed interest savings contract. Hope you all had some time to review it. It's in a binder like this. Basically, we have been working the last several months on developing this project, and it's no surprises. It's all the things that we talked about in terms of the HVAC upgrades and lighting upgrades. A $3.9 million project. The contract itself is a AIA contract. It's a KD requires this template to use, so we built our contract off this template. So all the terms and conditions are standard. There shouldn't be any surprises there. The terms and conditions are pretty much modeled to all the other construction projects that you all have done, probably with your architect. So I would ask you to consider approval of this contract.
Any questions regarding this? This is a project we've all been working on and have seen the savings. This is going to be, I believe, money well spent. Put money out, get more money back. Is that correct, Cindy?
And how much is the savings? I just like to hear you say that way.
Well, we have a guaranteed savings amount. The first year savings is $129,000. So we expect utility rates to continue to go up. So as the rates go up, the savings will go up as well. So being proactive will really help the budget down the road with rising utility rates. Plus the improved learning environment. That's a big part.
Oh, we appreciate that. Hearing no questions or objections, I'll look for a motion to approve the guaranteed energy savings contract with Harshaw Train.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve this guaranteed energy savings contract, please.
Thank you, sir. I'll be more than happy to second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Any
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the approved BG1 and BG 18133 to go along with that energy savings contract. Has everyone had a chance to review it? Is there anything you need to tell us about that, Ernie?
Yes, you all approved the initial BG1 a couple months ago. So this is a revised BG1 with updated information on the cost and then of course the financing. There's some additional scope items that makes the project a little bit better in terms of the HVAC, the water conservation, the lighting. So all that's BG1, and we'd ask you to consider approval of the final revised BG1.
I look for a motion to approve the BG1 revised and BG 18133 as listed.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the BG2, which is outlining the specifics, energy design criteria, and BG 18133.
So the BG2 is a state form, a Department of Education form. It's a 4-page form that really is one line item that's important for us, you all in this form. It's the energy use index, really the energy performance before the project, and what we predict the energy performance will be after the project. So that should be on the form for the high school. So we would ask you to consider that, and I'll take any questions if you have.
Any questions about that, ladies and gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve those BGs as listed.
So move, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? Thank you, Tracy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the purchase order for the training equipment to go with that.
Yes, we have a purchase order and a proposal for training equipment as part of this project. Part of the reason why we did it this way is so you can save on the use tax, sales and use tax for the district. So by having a purchase order direct, if you all purchase directly from Train, that you would save that tax. It's cost savings to the project.
Correct. And the reason we went with the training equipment was because it matches the other equipment we have across our district, other parts and other pieces that we're already using, correct?
Yes, that's right. You have a lot of training equipment and some controls around the district, and Billy is very familiar with that equipment.
Okay, cool. I'll look for a motion to approve the purchase order for training equipment or proposal for the BG 18133. I hear a motion to that effect.
So move, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Approve the intelligence services service agreement. And I believe that goes along with the training materials.
Yes, this is a service agreement that really goes hand in hand with the project. When the project is done, you would enter into this agreement. We have it set up for 3 years. Basically, it's a service where we would monitor your energy and your performance of your HVAC real time. Also, we include preventive maintenance of the chiller at vent gate. So it's really a continuation of that partnership. So we ask you to give it 3 years of kind of a trial and see how it works for you. You can continue on as you want. We ask you to at least consider the 3-year agreement.
Any questions regarding that service agreement? Hearing none, I'll make the motion we approve the intelligence services agreement. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. The next is the guaranteed energy savings contract upgrade.
Yes, this is really, I'll just give a quick update, and I think I'm going to segue to Joe Nance, because we're going to get into the numbers. So as we talked about, it's a $3.9 million project. There's a 20-year guarantee that helps fund this project, and we worked with Ross Sinclair very closely on how to set up the cash flow model and the financing. And so there's a busy spreadsheet. I'm going to turn this over to Joe Nance to really go over how this project will get funded. You want to say that?
Thank you, Arnie. And it's a pleasure to be here this evening. Is this on? Okay. Just a couple of comments before I go over the details of the spreadsheet. If you recall, when we first started looking at this project, I guess back in September, when you look at a typical energy savings project, is a company like Train comes in, they provide a guaranteed savings. Basically, that guaranteed savings goes to pay for the bonds to construct the project. So, it's a kind of a net effect, is that you borrow money to do the improvements, but you actually save in energy to pay for the bonds. Well, if you recall, we looked at a couple of different options, and fortunately here in Henderson County, we had the opportunity that we had about $2.7 million building fund cash that we could put into the project, so that when we approved the BG1 form earlier for the total project cost of $3.9 million, we're actually only borrowing $1,275,000,
because we're putting the 2.7 million in cash. So what I want to point out is if you look at your screen, the far right-hand column shows that once we sell bonds to pay for part of the project, and we look at the energy savings that are guaranteed, the far right-hand column are what we consider the excess earnings. So what Train is guaranteeing over and above what it takes to pay the bond payment. And you'll notice the first year, we got $82,000 of excess earnings. Year 2, $83,000. So over the 20-year period of this project, the savings that they're guaranteeing will generate $2.4 million more than what it costs to finance the project. So, and if you recall, we looked at two different options. One was to bond or finance it all. The other was to put the cash in. So it's really, to me, this is the best of both worlds here in Henderson, the fact that we can put up cash so that not only are we going to generate enough savings to pay for the bond payment, but Cindy's actually going to realize real net savings every year in the budget as a result of the project. And the one thing I will point out is these savings, even though the project cost went up slightly, with their new projections, these savings are more than what was presented back in September. So from my standpoint, when we look at the guarantee from Train, it's better than I even anticipated what we talked about back in September. Any questions? So really there's no action. We just want you to see the actual savings spreadsheet. And then the next item is where we actually would approve the bond sale to finance a portion of the project.
We need to adopt this resolution first before we go into recess for
Yes. If you would like, I could read that into the record.
Yes, please.
A resolution of the Board of Education of the Henderson County, Kentucky School District approving a guaranteed energy savings contract with Harshaw Training and approving the plan of financing the cost of said project, authorizing and approving the execution of a contract lease and option with the Henderson County School District Finance Corporation and any further necessary instruments.
Thank you. For a motion to approve that resolution as read?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you, Dr. Sugg. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Joe. We now need to go into recess for the Henderson County School District Finance Corporation meeting. Look for a motion for a brief recess for the Board of Education meeting, so the meeting of the Henderson County District Finance Corporation can be convened. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Thank you, Mr. West. I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so I need to now call to order the Henderson County School District Finance Corporation special meeting. We need to confirm the officers, which are President Lisa Baird, Vice President Michael Waller, Secretary Morgana Stanley, and Treasurer Cindy Cloutier. I need a motion to confirm those officers.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. The next thing, Joe, is to adopt a resolution authorizing the issuance of energy conservation revenue bonds.
And again, it would probably be appropriate for me to read this into the record. It's a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Henderson County School District Finance Corporation relating to and providing for the issuance of $1,275,000 principal amount, which may be increased or decreased by the amount of $125,000 of energy conservation revenue bonds, Series 2018, in accordance with sections 162.120 through 162.300 and 162.385 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes to provide funds for school building purposes, providing and determining the duty of said corporation in connection with the operation of the school property, the creation of funds sufficient to pay the principal on and interest on said revenue bonds as and when they mature, the creation of adequate maintenance and insurance funds, and authorizing the execution of a lease and other instruments with respect to such forlorn property with the Board of Education of the Henderson County Schools.
Thank you. I'll look for a motion to approve that resolution as listed. Thank you, Dr. Sugg. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion to adjourn the Henderson County School District Finance Corporation special meeting and reconvene the Henderson County Board of Education.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Tracy, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned with that and back into our regular Henderson County Board of Education meeting. Moving on to reports. Transportation. Mr. Van Payne. Thank you all.
Good evening, thank you for your time. The Transportation Department, of course, the love of Bus Week is the 26th through the 2nd. Of course, we always love that week to get everybody together and have a good time and let them know how much we appreciate them, the monitors, the staff, and the whole department. This has been a long, wonderful year for the Transportation Department. I'll wrap up kind of what transportation looks like in a nutshell. We transport 4,500 to 4,900 students a day, home to school and then school to home. We travel close to 1.1 million miles per year, which is about 3,000 miles a day, somewhere in there. In our fleet, we have 100 school buses, 78 regular routes that run every day. We have 13 preschool routes that run 3 times a day, with 22 monitors on them buses, and 13 drivers there. We transport to the CAT Center, the YMCA, and we have afternoon athletic buses from each middle school that transport to the high school and to the YMCA for swim meet and stuff like that. In our staff, we have 100 professionally trained school bus drivers. We have 25 highly trained school bus monitors. We have 3 second to none technicians in the state of Kentucky. Like, I can't brag on them enough. The districts from around us call us constantly for their knowledge, picking their brains and hey, have y'all been through this and what can we do and have you seen this? They're understaffed and they're doing a phenomenal job understaffed with the buses that we have. So what's new in the Transportation Department? We made it through our first audit from KDE. We did really well there. I've attached the full report to your board meetings. Our annual expenditures were $3.8 million, including salary, benefits, fuel, maintenance, and repairs. The cost per mile of our buses is $2.15 a mile. We only charge $1.30 per mile for school trips. Buses, this is great here. We teamed up with Safe Schools. We have 75% of our fleet with cameras on their buses, active cameras, minimum of 3 cameras, one backward, one rear facing, one forward facing, step well, and midship, usually, which come in handy a lot, day to day. Electronic routing. We are implementing that into the Transportation Department. We're just getting that ball rolling right now. It'll show us a lot where our deficiencies are, route overlapping, how we can get them A to B quicker, more efficient, and less time on the school bus. We do about $15,000 to $30,000 a month in field trips. We've had approximately 600 different field trips since August 1st, utilizing more than one bus. At the Transportation Department, we got concrete pad poured all around where the buses park. We call it the bus island, and that was a big hit for the drivers and monitors, not trucks through the rock and the mud and the snow. And that is where we are headed. Any questions?
And it is Love the Bus Month, one of our favorite months.
Yes, it is.
Did I also see that you are looking into an app that will tell parents what time the buses will arrive?
It'll be closed, yes, they'll be able to go, it's called Info Finder. There'll be a place on the web that they can go hit, and it'll tell basically, little Johnny should be home at this time, AM, PM, and what bus will be taking him home to that. That is correct.
I've heard lots of great comments about that, and parents are looking forward to it, so.
I am too, we're taking, it saves the school secretaries and it saves the transportation department a whole lot of phone calls and things like that. So we're really proud and excited to get that ball rolling.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Payne? Yes, ma'am.
Ben, first of all, congrats to you and your whole team. I would not do a bus driver's job. I could not do it for any amount of money. I don't think the patience to, be watching the other drivers and also the students behind. So hats off to all of them. We do it in a really, really good fashion and have very few incidents compared with other districts across the state. I just have one question about the audit. In number one, the training program, where they had cited you all for a couple of records not having a criminal record check. Did that mean that they just didn't have the paperwork in the file, or have they actually, those drivers, not been through a criminal background check?
They have been, the paperwork was not the proper filing.
Thank you. I thought that was the case. I just wanted to make sure that we said that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Moving on to the maintenance department, energy savings project. Mr. Steve?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to speak to the report that you have in your packet. It's great news. It's really good news. It's best news that we've had in a while. And we're excited to share it with you. Not too long ago, we asked for permission to venture out our maintenance group. They really asked for permission to kind of go out and seek to see what they could do to save us some money. And you invested in that, and we're here to share the results. Some good forward thinking on their part, and some good hard working that they had as well. So just to kind of highlight some of the things to kind of make sure you're reading it the way I read it. Basically what we did was we took last year from July to December's kilowatt hours that we used, and then compared to this year, July to December's. And we looked at the number of schools that we touched in our lighting projects. And you can see the reduced kilowatt hours from each school. So A.B. Chandler last year, for the 6 months from July to December, 373,154 kilowatt hours versus this year, 258,644 kilowatt hours, which is a reduction of 114,510. And if you multiply that times the kilowatt hours at A.B. Chandler, it gave us a $15,222 cost avoidance savings. There's two ways I look at it: cost avoidance, because we would have spent that much if we hadn't produced the changes. And then the next little thing, if you'll slide that down just a little bit, we looked at the actual bill comparisons. So the bill comparisons from 2016 July to December versus July to December in 2017. You see it at Chandler last year, 2016, your report last now. $38,046 is what we spent during that time frame. This year, during that time frame, we spent $32,025, which is $6,021 less. And that's cost to cost comparison. So whichever way you want to look at it, we kind of look at it both ways, where we've avoided paying out $77,384, but then also we can show you for sure that we've saved $42,872 from cost bills July to December versus July to December this year. That next page that we want to share is the kilowatt hours compared, which kind of breaks it down to share average per month usage and how much we reduced it from last year's use to this year. The next little kind of last little section on there, and is another area that we kind of wanted to share with you the full cost. $162,507 was the amount of materials that we purchased, light bulbs, things that we needed to do the work. So it cost us $162,507 worth of materials. During the summer, you granted us an opportunity to hire some summer workers to help us get this work done and other work done so that our maintenance can focus on this work. So we were able to hire several part-time summer workers, and we included all that cost in there. All that wasn't towards this project, but we wanted to kind of make sure you knew that, which gave us a total bill of $186,999 for the total project if you include all the summer help as well. We did get $17,000 versus worth of rebates, so $169,999 is our total cost. Savings awarded for 6 months, $77,348 from the other page, divided by 6 months is $12,891. The cost to cost, you can see the difference at the bottom line. I guess that's where we're headed. $169,999 is the total cost. If we could come up with the biggest number, we wanted to be as honest as we could find the biggest number, and divided it by the average monthly salary, or monthly salary, sorry, no longer. Average salaries, average savings, is $7,145. And so in 23.7 months, we will have paid back, or we will have saved the money to be able to fund the whole project, including summer help. That's 23.7 months if we use the total number. You can look at cost avoidance, and it's a whole lot sooner than that, but a great group of guys that are working for that, and I just averaged some numbers along with Billy, double checking a lot of things, and we just wanted to share the good news with you that it paid off, and it's going to do well, and it is doing well, and that's just in 6 months' time.
So in 24 months, 2 years, we'll have paid this back, and the rest of the years, we get the benefit.
We're all ready, is what we call it. So, it's a big deal for our maintenance group to be forward thinkers and hard workers and want to get things done to do their part. And so I can't say enough about that group, their leaders, and those individuals.
We like money back in the bank. Mr. Austell, please pass on our great appreciation for what they do. Thank you, sir. Any other questions for Mr. Schneider regarding that?
Or if I missed something, Billy, Donnie?
Oh, there's none back there. He's hiding behind Joe. I couldn't see. You too. Okay, moving on to Title I and Title II. Ms. Jo Swanson?
Yes, I want. Is it ready? Is it working?
This one works. Okay, wanted to give you a little update about our annual update on our Title I and Title II programs. The Title I program this year, our allocation from the state was $1,817,420. The district gets a portion of that, $1,768,465.54. We have one school who participates in our federal programs. That would be Holy Name of Jesus, and their portion of that. All of this is calculated by formula as dictated by the state and the federal government. And their portion is $30,780.26. At least 1% of that total amount must be allocated for parent involvement Title I activities as well. I've given you information to show you how these schools are allocated their funds. It is all based on formula, as I said before, with the schools that have the highest free and reduced numbers being allocated the most the highest rates per student, and then it dwindles down. Typically, in most districts, secondary schools are not allocated in any Title I funds at all. However, in our district, we do choose to allocate Title I funds to each secondary schools. their proportional amounts are decreased. However, because we try to put the greatest amount of dollars toward the youngest children in order to maximize their intervention at the earliest years of their education. Title I dollars support intervention in our district, as in most districts. They are to intervention in the core content areas primarily. We also spend most of our dollars working with students in small groups because we know that that is effective. Some schools use full-time teachers to do that as interventionists, and some schools use part-time retired teachers, which is one of the reasons it's very important for Kentucky schools to be able to use retired teachers in their programs. This saves us a great deal of money. Many of our schools also use online subscriptions and license for intervention programs with their for these with the Title I dollars. The parent involvement events such as reading nights, math nights, writing nights, or ACT nights, all the kinds of things the Henderson County schools do, and I must say very, very well. They're very engaging, and we usually get quite nice turnouts. That comes from Title I funds as well. Administrators or SBDM councils can also choose to spend part of their Title I money, and they do, for professional learning of staff, for workshops, conferences, meetings, or professional materials for staff as well. We can also buy library books, we can buy technology. In recent years, our schools have chosen to use quite a bit of Title I dollars for technology. The whole purpose of Title I funds are to serve the most at-risk students in our district. Currently, we have 11.3 full-time Title I teachers. We have 2 social workers that are at least paid partially out of Title I. We also have 12 school liaisons, which is required by law. Those liaisons just stay in touch with me with the way they use those funds, in addition to with their principal. They also keep all the documentation that's necessary. We also have 29 school part-time interventionists in our district. Without those funds, we would not be able to serve our most at-risk students or our most underperforming students as well as we do. Do you have any questions about Title I? In Title II, our total allocation is $314,328 this year. That is down some. Our district uses $303,093.30 of that. Once again, Holy Name's portion, all determined by formula, is $11,234.70. With these funds, we pay for the professional learning and the district instructional coaches who train our teachers in everything, whatever they might need to be trained in. And including, I would say, we would add this year in foundational reading, because the district has taken that on as a primary focus for professional learning for our K through 3, well, actually pre-K through 3 teachers. They also work and stay in consultation with Holy Name to help plan their programs, both in Title I and Title II as well. Do you have any questions?
Any questions by Mrs. Jones?
Just one. On the, I couldn't read because
it's small.
It's very, very small. With the Title II, what does Holy Name use theirs for? I couldn't read that box.
Holy Name uses theirs for workshops, conferences, and mostly for travel for professional learning.
So they don't have personnel in that?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Joe, appreciate that. Moving on to old business, district improvement plan, second reading. Ms. Kim?
Thank you all, good evening. Last month shared with you the district improvement plan for 2017-18. And if you all have any questions or concerns about any of that information, kind of shared with you the process that we went through in creating that and the participation of all of our stakeholders being involved.
Any questions for Ms. Camp regarding that? Looks like we had a good district improvement plan, and you had lots of help creating it last time, I do believe. Yes, ma'am. I look for a motion to approve the district improvement plan as listed. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Do I hear a second?
Well, I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Kim.
And make a quick little side note to principals that are here, just telling them thank you for learning a new system and putting the information in to develop the school improvement plan. That's not always easy, and a lot of times they may come spend the day with Ms. White in the technology lab, trying to input and learn the new system. And Ms. White, for your leadership in completing that enormous task. Thank you.
The only thing that's not different is change, right? We're gonna change it every year, right? Thank you all. Moving on to new business. The first item on there is the consent agenda. Approve overnight trip request, accept the SFCC, KETS offers of assistance, and by the way, that is the school facilities match. We talked about that when we were working on our nickel tax. That is a match this year of $104,000 for items that we're working on right now. Approve the school activity fundraiser request, approve shortened days for 3 special ed students, and approve bid recommendations and grant applications. Do any of those items need to be pulled or discussed?
I just have a question about one.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't need to pull it, but on the school activity funds, the HOSA request, I'm just curious if that is a new request or something that came up they weren't aware of, because they're all supposed to be on, I was with the understanding on the list when we approved those earlier in the year.
Oh, the HOSA was, yes, ma'am.
That's something new.
It is a new activity that they're requesting approval for.
Okay. Am I not correct on that? We have a list at the beginning of the year, teachers and club sponsors are supposed to put all that together and so that they can plan. I just wanted to make sure something must have come up, but we need to kind of stick with that so that we don't bombard the public with door-to-door sales any more than what we've already approved.
Did the HOSA have anything on their list before that? Did they include it in that group? This is just something additional that they're bringing to us. Okay.
Sometimes the ones that are on the list initially don't pan out.
Right, I see that on the second one, they made a, on the second one, there's a note about that, a change.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so I look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Are here a second? Thank you, Dr. Sutton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda approved. Moving on to financial treasurer's report. Ms. Cindy?
The treasurer's report for the month of January had total receipts of $5,584,912. Total expenses of $6,035,256. For a net decrease in all funds of $450,344. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the treasurer's report as submitted tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
Thank you. I look for a motion to approve the financial statements as listed. Thank you, Ms. Tracy. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the paid warrant report. Ms. Cindy?
The paid warrant report is from January the 23rd to February the 19th. It includes total payments of $2,578,415.95. Any questions on the paid warrant?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I respectfully request your approval of the paid warrant report as submitted tonight by Cindy Cloutier.
Thank you, Ms. Brianna. I look for a motion to approve the paid warrant report and pay the bills.
Shoot, I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy. Thank you, Mr. Mike. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Cindy, pay the bills. Personnel actions, be it noted, we have received the personnel actions. And last thing on our item is a motion to adjourn
I'll
this
make that
Monday
motion,
meeting.
Madam Chair.
We beat you again. You want to second that, Ms. Tracy?
Yes.
All in favor? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time.
Get it out of my mouth.